Video making's not your only creative outlet, right? You also work with some D&D stuff, and you have a couple other mediums too, correct?
Yeah. I mean, so I play D&D casually. I've also I tried running a D&D podcast. Something I'd like to come back to, but that's just one of those things where it's like I only have so much time,
Sure.
and trying to get that out regularly makes it so it's a lot harder to get normal videos out
Right.
regularly. So it's kind of, it's always a competition of time. And now that this is like my job, it is my source of income,
Right.
and not just a hobby. Like I have to think about it like in those terms.
Sure. Yeah.
where any time that I'm not working on Razbuten stuff, that could be potentially
Yeah.
harmful down the line.
And I'm sure it would be another case if you had a job that wasn't in creating, and your hobby was like running D&D campaigns or whatnot, because that would be kind of become your creative outlet. But when you're already creating for your job, I feel like it's almost harder to entirely balance every kind of creative avenue when you have to focus specifically on one, at least to my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, I'd say so to a degree. I think also, especially with the D&D podcast that I was doing, is like when I started viewing D&D as something I could make, some capital C content with,
I like that
and
capital
and
C content. That's good. I want to use that.
and and just viewing it in those terms, I found it a lot harder to just play D&D for fun. So I'm kind of
Interesting.
also in this spot where I'm like, yeah, I liked working on that podcast because I think it made a really cool creative product
Right.
and it was fun to do. And also like, yeah, I think if I was able to keep with it enough, it could be something that, maybe at some point like doesn't take up so much. Like I hopefully it could pay for itself or something,
Right.
just make enough where I can just run a game and be able to hire someone to edit it and put it out, and if it breaks even, that'd be great,
Sure.
because then at least it gets to exist, and that would be really exciting for me. But at the same time, when I'm thinking about D&D as like something that other people will watch,
Right.
then that makes it so whenever I'm running a personal game, I have to think of like, well, would these ideas I'm using be good content in the podcast? Should I be wasting my stuff
Right.
in this group of just four people? There's
Yeah.
only four people playing, so that means there's only four people watching. And it's like,
Right.
I hate that. Like I hate that I'm doing that to
Yeah.
this hobby that I have that I love and love to do.
Sure.
And the value of that hobby is not how many other people are watching it or engaging with it, but once you start to maybe try to monetize your hobby, or just have it be like a thing that is put out to the public for people to watch.
You can't entirely turn off the performance of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't.
And
So yeah,
I'm sure you've felt that way with streaming too, right? Where sometimes when you're
Yeah.
playing games, you kind of kick yourself for even just doing commentary in your head while you're playing and stuff like that.
yeah, I think to a degree, I think how I stream has shifted a lot. I think a lot of people who start with a YouTube channel and go over to streaming are like, all right, I play games.
Right.
This is my channel. I play games. I need to play games to get ideas for stuff, and I need to capture footage for stuff. So if
Sure.
I just stream that, that'll be great, and people will want to watch it.
Sure.
And that works for some people.
Right.
Not for everyone, though.
Definitely
I
not.
think it's hard to make it on Twitch doing that, because people on Twitch at this point really only watch games if you're really funny, which I'm not, or if you're
Really
really
good
good
at
at
the
them.
game. Yes.
Yeah, which I'm also not. So I'm 0 for 2 in the video game realm.
Sure.
So I've had to actually find ideas that are just outside of it, right? So
Right.
so the whole feedback stream was kind of I stole that from bigger streamers who do that sort of thing. I was
Sure.
like, oh, that'd be a fun idea. Those, I hadn't seen anyone really do that with video essay stuff.
Sure.
The stuff that streamer was critiquing was mostly like other people's stream content.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I was kind of like, okay,
But
do this with video essays, give my feedback to the best of my
right,
ability.
because you have that insight and experience with video essays specifically, something that is often considered one of like the highest form of YouTube content, right? Like the idea of like something super scripted, edited well, and has a neat point from the beginning to the end. And you saw like, okay, if I'm not inherently funny, which you know, you might be funnier than you imagine. Okay, I'm just saying, big C for or capital C content was pretty good. And then of course, not being great at games, you still have some kind of experience that you can rely on, and turning that into content seems like a good idea. And actually, as of today, you are now a Twitch partner too. So I assume that you're going to be going a little heavier with streams as well. Hey there. You just watched a clip from my creative podcast. If you'd like to check out the full episode as well as other episodes as soon as they come out, you can support me over on Patreon for the $3 tier, or you can just subscribe here and wait for clips and podcast episodes to come out eventually.